In our culture, the resilient woman is both admirable and held at high honor, but it doesn't always feel so honorable, does it? Being the one who is everything for everyone else can be heavy. And as the quieter one, everyone thinks you have everything all together. But inside, you feel as if you are losing yourself in the process. I believe that you too can have a life that is both purposeful and fulfilled, even as the resilient woman you are. Her authentic journey, this is a personal journey of mine, and I go before you, sharing what I wish I had early on, having the conversations we rarely speak of, and sharing lessons learned and unlearned as I let go of striving for a life that I thought I had to live, a life that resembled those strong women before me, to then build a life that is authentic to me. And along this personal journey of mine, I discovered the secret key to our more in the life of fulfillment that we desire for ourselves. This is more accessible than we think. And it begins by becoming true to who you are, not who you've had to be. So come along this journey of finally walking into the fulfilled life you were meant for. Hey, welcome back to Her Authentic Journey, the podcast. Now, I introduced myself briefly and we talked about the authentic journey, the journey that I am on, of getting back to who I am at the core and deciding to experience each moment in between the time, right? Instead of waiting for those milestones or significant moments to be over to then live. And I think this is important because in life and in society, we are fed and taught the traditional ways or protocols that we're supposed to meet or fit into. And if we're honest with ourselves, we try to create and acquire this picture perfect life, right? Starting from an early age that will allow us to have this happy, fulfilled life. That there's, a life blueprint or a life formula of going to school, graduating, getting your degree, finding a career, becoming married, buying a house, having the children, all the things that make a picture perfect life, right? Our parents want it for us, we want it for ourselves, and so on. But maybe this isn't your story and how your life is set up. But also in our culture, in everyday life, we see women and men every day in our families working so hard day and night 24/7, constantly working hard at stretching themselves and their bodies thin, making sacrifices and putting their dreams on the shelf. Why? In order to provide a happy and successful life for us. And on social media, TV, magazines, movies, we see influencers or overnight success, these people that are living their best life, right? They're happy, they have it all figured out. So the message you see that is sent over time becomes that it is in these things that we attain, accomplish, and sacrifice that happiness lies. That it is the destination that we have in common. We all want to be happy and purposeful and fulfilled in life, right? You see, those things and those things alone, they're good. But alone, they do not make for a happy, dream-fulfilled life that we hope for. You see, fulfillment is happiness as a result of fully developing one's character and abilities. See, once we do attain and accomplish these things, it's exciting. It's something to be proud of. It feels good. If we are honest, in due time, you find yourself right back in the same cycle, dealing with those same feelings again after a while. And this cycle continues as you hit a brick wall. You hit a breaking point, which is probably where you are right now, where you feel as if you are stuck in life, that you are living a life that feels as if it is a life for someone else. Feelings of being appreciative of all that you have and love because you feel deep down inside that you were meant for so much more. Well, that's exactly where I was on October 4th, 2020, in the pouring rain that day without an umbrella, crying and praying to my grandmother and to God for help. I did everything I was supposed to do. Everything I ever loved and needed was just across from me in the car waiting. You see, I had hit a brick wall and fell flat on my face at this time. I knew I could not go another day living in this same way. So I had to do something different. That day, as I rose up off the wet, grassy area, I had vowed to do something different. I wanted to live a life that not only looked good and that I appreciated, but a life that also felt good to live each day. So that means I had to do something differently. I had to understand that my desired fulfillment is within me and within developing into my authentic being, my true self. And it also meant that everything that it took, everything that I had to be in order to get through those storms, those moments of disappointments, to get me here, to get me there, crying and asking for help in the pouring rain, was obviously not the same things that will get me further, right? Who I had to be all along, see, I had mastered that, right? You have mastered that at this point. And now you're at the brick wall. And in order to make it over the wall and into the happiness and true fulfillment, a life that you know you are meant for, it requires that you do see and believe differently. Renewing your mind, surrounding yourself with things and people that are in alignment with who you are, valuing your time and the time, being honest about who you are, where it is you want to go, identifying the obstacles that are in your way, and making the 4 steps to do it. You see, what I found on this journey is this framework that I'm speaking of, my signature framework to navigate through life. I call it a method on purpose, which is your mindset, environment, honesty, obstacles, and doing it. It's an intentional system. Together, these components make up an intentional way of life, living with direction. Because without navigation, there is no direction. And where there is no direction, we tend to figure it out as we go. We lean in on our own understanding and what we have seen and were taught along the way. We revert back to what has worked for us in the past. So the attitudes and beliefs of getting through it by any means necessary don't look like what you've been through. That strength is in handling all the things alone. It is time to transfer that mindset and transfer that resilience to fight or make it through to a more purposeful and intentional way to your more. And in the next episodes, I will go through each component of my method on purpose framework. Stay tuned. Thank you for listening to Her Authentic Journey, the podcast. I hope you enjoyed and were able to grab something meaningful from this episode. If so, please support by sharing with a friend, rate and review. You can also refer to our show notes for more. Until next time, remember, be true to who you are, not who you've had to be.